At saka tinatanong yon sa media sa amin, what pushes them? Bakit nandun sila? At saka bakit nananatili silang nandun? So, nung tinignan namin, anecdotal, kasi hindi naman thorough yung statistics namin, may mga iba talaga doon na walang mapuntahan, no? Napuno na sa utang. May mga ilang teachers na punong-puno na sa utang. Nung nag-opening remarks si Senator, sabi mo, it's well-defined. It falls under a cult. And yet, yun yung common term for cult. But it has never been defined under Philippine laws. We did help them. So, nakikita namin, first, we would like to confirm that indeed there are forced marriages. We have interviewed them, and in fact, we have interviewed also Mark. And the reality is that helping fight a cult is challenging, not because of yung mga forced marriages, pwede pa yun, ano? Pero private army, parang, teka lang, that's a little bit dangerous.
Hindi okay sa akin yung forced marriages. Hindi ko matanggap yun.
Sa amin, mga human rights lawyers, tinitingnan din namin yung safety namin. Well, anyway, nung narinig namin kay Mark na kahit yung taga-DNR ay nilalagyan nila ng mga trap, teka lang, delikado yon. So I can understand the challenge, no, of the DNR going there because they have their own private army and that the training is really extensive. Young combatants, children, training them to be skilled, no? Anyway, nakikita rin namin sa tulong namin, ng tinutulungan namin, that basically the local government of Socorro, they have the right heart, but unfortunately may lack the skills on how to handle it. And one of that is in their sincere effort to protect the residents, gumawa nga sila ng ordinance, which later on was declared void. May mga kakulangan, the documentation, that sort. At saka nung nagpunta kami sa kanila, palagi silang talo sa case. Yon, lumalapit sila sa amin, Attorney, talo na naman kami sa writ of habeas corpus. So the first child, yon, talagang malaking blow sa kanila, di ba? Because they were trying to protect that child, and then later on, the court gave that child back to the parent because under the law, the primary custody should be with the child. Pero kung titingnan namin, a petition for involuntary commitment was filed earlier, but it was not ruled upon. So, sa tingin ko, may kakulangan siguro sa batas. You cannot answer a cult movement with hodgepodge laws, no? So, ngayon, going back, ang mga issues na kikita namin, why would they go there in the first place? There are 3,500 to 5,000. What are the pushing factors why people would go there and stay there? Ignorance, yes. Miseducation, yes. Merong element of desperation, poverty. May nagtatago nandun kasi may mga warrant of arrest. May nandun kasi napuno sa utang.
Attorney, mga teachers yung iba, mga kwan yun,
That's why,
license, kwan yun.
Yes.
Licensed teachers, ito, mga police ito, na puro ito mga NAPOLCOM at civil service eligibles. So, yun lang, nagbatin lang ako. Please continue.
Totoo yun. At saka tinatanong yun sa media sa amin, what pushes them? Bakit nandun sila? At saka bakit nananatili silang nandun? So, nung tinignan namin, anecdotal, kasi hindi naman thorough yung statistics namin, may mga iba talaga doon na walang mapuntahan, no? Napuno na sa utang. May mga ilang teachers na punong-puno na sa utang. And then, based yung culture nila of strong helping each other, yung bayanihan. Kung nandun ka, anyway, each member is helping another member. Pero why they would stay there, even though with this reality, ang isang factor doon is wala na silang babalikan kasi binenta na nila. Second, paninindigan na lang nila. Kasi nandito na kami eh. We will stand by it. So that's why we recommended reintegration, rehabilitation, alternative livelihood, so that these people could be reintegrated back to the community. Pero ang sa amin talaga na nakita namin na maganda, because palaging talo sa case eh. May vowsy kami, talo. May adultery, talo. Ganyan. So, I think the Senate, legislators, would have to craft a law or a policy that would answer cult, because this is rampant in Mindanao and other parts of the country. Kasi kung titingnan mo, hodgepodge lang yung batas natin eh. So one act may not be connected. Sa simulang-simula, nung nag-opening remarks si Senator, sabi mo, it's well defined, it falls under a cult. And yet, yun yung common term for cult. But it has never been defined under Philippine laws kung ano yung cult natin. And wala pa, kasi wala nga tayong batas noon. So, difficult to define. Common knowledge lang natin na yun yung definition sa cult. Now, the Cebu for Human Rights, we will be submitting a position paper. But our recommendation is really to come up with a more comprehensive law on this matter to answer. Kasi hindi kaya. At saka nakikita namin, this Senate investigation really put into light the problem. Kasi nung nandun sa Socorro, yun, tinutulungan ng NBI, correct, talagang tinutulungan. Yung CHR doon, yung region nyo, yun, meron, ito, meron, pero hindi buo. At saka yung sa DepEd, yun tumutulong. But with this platform and with this venue, you're really able to bring the problem about cult and cultism all over the Philippines. Kaya nga siguro patok na patok kasi maraming nagkaka-interest dito. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Attorney. Thank you for your sharing us that
Your
information.
If I may.
Magbigyan ko lang muna sandali, si Teresa, si Attorney. Attorney, you have the floor.
Your
Go ahead.
Honor, may I debunk the facts that what Attorney Lapitan said? Because she said that the reason why I'm stating the ordinance here, the proceedings in the Sangguniang Panlalawigan, because all of these forced marriages, the amassing of high-powered firearms, the creation of drug shabu laboratories inside the Sitio Kapihan were all raised in Sangguniang Panlalawigan. They were given a lot of time to sustain the constitutionality of the ordinance. However, until now, they did not present any report from any agency, PNP, DILG, or CHR at that moment. That's why it was said to be speculative and baseless. Second, she said that that they filed an involuntary commitment and it was not responded. However, Your Honor, they only filed the involuntary commitment petition after 2 months after gaining custody over the children. They filed the involuntary commitment after we filed the writ of habeas corpus. That's why it was a belated action, because normally you would file an involuntary commitment if you would want to get the custody of a child. However, they already had the custody of the child.
Kaya nga, aminado na nga si Attorney at saka si Mayor na talo talaga sila sa kaso nyo. Dahil
Yes.
nakuha nyo balik yung bata eh. Kahit na gaano kaganda ng intention ni Mayor na i-hold yung bata para, yun nga, ang bata na nga lumayas eh. Ang bata na nga ang umayaw, pumunta sa kanila, na-rescue nila. Ngayon, because of due process, ginamit ang lahat ng legal processes, lumabas talaga sa korte, which is Dinisyon ng korte na ibalik sa parents yan dahil under the law, dapat ang parents talaga mag-custody ng bata, hindi yung mayor, hindi yung DSWD. So, yun nga, talo nga sila talaga. Talo sila, under the law.
Yes.
Talo. So,
The reason,
accepted
Mr.
na yan.
Chair.
Kahit anong intention nila, talo talaga. So,
Mr. Chair.
what are you trying to establish, attorney?
The reason why I'm raising this, Your Honor, is because she said that they filed the involuntary commitment first and it was not entertained by the court. However, upon summons, upon records would speak that they only filed 2 months after gaining custody of the children. That's why I want to set the
Kaya nga,
record straight.
talo nga talaga sila dahil they're always two steps behind you. Talo sila.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead, Senator Risa.
Ang maganda lang po, Mr. Chair, and may I please also share my differing opinion with attorney. Actually, may laban pa po yung mga bata dahil dinidinig po, iniimbestiga ng Senado. Yung mga gustong i-champion yung rights of the children, yung best interest of the child, bagamat sa mga prior processes, maaring hindi nabigyang daan yung kanilang hinihiling, pero dahil mga sa naunang ginawa ng NBI, naunang ginawa ng DOJ IACAT, naunang ginawa ng PNP, naunang ginawa ni na Mayor at ng MSWDO, nakarating sa amin dito sa Senado. And ibig sabihin, hindi na-uphold. And in fact, I would state it more strongly, nalalabag ang best interest of the child, nalalabag ang karapatan ng bata sa kasalukuyang sitwasyong kinasasadlakan nila sa kapihan, sa kamay ng SBSI. And one of the, dagang salamat kay Attorney Lepiten, we conduct these investigations in aid of legislation also. So kung meron po kayong ipapanukala na mas sumasaklaw na batas, we would be very interested to study that. At isa po sa mga aspetong binanggit nyo, yung rehabilitation. Actually, yun yung isang pending important matter ko sa DSWD. Kapag finally nga napatunayan na victim survivors ng human trafficking, for one, itong mga witnesses natin, kung merong program for rehabilitation and reintegration ng DSWD na maasahang matanggap ng mga bata, ng kanilang mga pamilya. And in fact, yung ating mga child victim survivors, nananawagan sa mga kababata nila na nandun pa sa kapihan, na bumaba na rin, tumakas din. Kasi daw walang kinabukasan sila doon. Simula lang dun sa hindi sila pinapayagang makapag-aral. So I just want to, in this way, also express support for our committees and our chair, and speaking as his co-chair, na hindi pa tapos ang laban, may laban ng mga bata. Dahil nakarating sa amin yung kanilang mismong personal na testimonya.
Mr.
Salamat
Chair.
tayo, Mr. Chair.
If
Yes.
I may add, Mr. Chair.
Yes, go ahead, attorney.
Sa dami-dami kasing tumakas na doon, katatakot silang magsalita. Ito yung mga bata na matatapang, ito yung mga witnesses na matatapang. Kasi ang dami na kasing nagsasabi na ganitong nangyari sa kanila. Kasi imagine mga more than 1,000 na siguro yung bumaba. Pero ayaw nilang magsalita. Natatakot talaga sila. May tukhang, balikan sila. And then the black van na sinasabi, van na sinasabi na puntahan sila. So, yung takot na balikan. So, ito yung sad thing na nangyayari sa kanila. Kasi, meron pang mas malala sa tingin ko na dinaanan. Meron pang talagang rape na nire-rape na tumatakas doon. Pero ayaw magsalita. Pinuntahan namin pero ayaw talaga kasi natatakot. Now, with the culture of fear, sana may tutulong na, ma-uplift yung ano nila, na, yung courage nila na magsalita. Ang dami kasi. And then, psychologists or mga specialists na tutulong sa kanila. Kasi sa dinami-dami nila, sa mga pinagdaalan nila doon sa taas, sa tingin ko, kinakailangan ng interventions. Now, yung sa pagkuha sa mga bata, gusto talagang lang kunin yung mga bata lahat. For purposes of recantation, may nag-recant na eh. Dalawa sa kanila nag-recant na. So, kung hayaan nating maibigay yung mga bata, our cases will be weakened, I think. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Attorney. I think Colonel Laude, meron kang Women's and Children's Desk, di ba?
Yes, for honor.
Tutukan nyo itong problema na ito doon. Ha? Yung provincial WCD mo, pabiyahin mo, papuntahin mo doon sa Socorro para alalayan yung local government doon sa yung maintenance ng mga bata.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Kasi kung pabayaan natin ito, hanggang hearing tayo dito, mamaya pag-uwian doon, takot pa rin yung mga bata. Kailangan i-assure natin sila na hindi sila dapat matatakot at they should have peace of mind. Kasi mga bata pa ito eh. Pwede
Mr.
mong
Chair.
tutukan, dali mo doon yung mga kuan mo, Women's and Children's Desk mo para magtumulong doon.
Yes, sir. As of now, sir, I have instructed also my provincial WCPD, sir, and my provincial investigation development detective unit, sir, to conduct investigation, further investigation.
Hindi lang
Assist-
investigation, kundi
Assist
yung
the-
psychosocial intervention na pwede niyong gawin in coordination with DSWD para kawawaan. Marami daw. 1,000 plus na daw itong mga bata na naglayasan doon. Tapos ngayon, andyan, still living in fear. Baka pick upin ng black na van. Totoo ba ito, Mr. Galarida? Na pinipick up niyo yung mga bata doon ng black na van? Ay babalik sa kapihan.
Wala naman po kaming black band. Mr.
Wala kayong
Chair.
black van.
Wala po.
Sino may-ari ng black van? Saan nangyari? O urban legend lang yan?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, go ahead, Senator Risa.
Nasa testimonyo po yan kanina ni Sir Jeng, yung tungkol sa black van. Mr. Chair, yung DOJ will correct me if I'm wrong, but sa knowledge ko po, dahil naibalik na nga yung isang batang tumakas sa bisa ng habeas corpus case na pinafile ng Socorro Bayanihan Services, ay nabalitaan ko po, and correct me if I'm wrong, na tututol po ang DOJ dun sa ibang mga cases of habeas corpus dahil mukhang continuing crime po ito ng human trafficking at iba pa. In fact, Mr. Chair, it seems to me, as author of the expanded Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act, that victims of trafficking shall immediately be placed under protective custody of DSWD. Kaya naisip ko lang po, dahil kanina sinabi po ni Asek Dumlao na mahaba pa ang kailangang panahon for their debriefing, hindi po ba tama, Mr. Chair, na the state, in the exercise of its parents patri powers and in compliance with Section 7K of RA 9208 as amended, take protective custody of the two minors and their parents if they wish in the hands of SBSI. So, maaari ko bang hilingin, Mr. Chair, na mag-weigh in dito sa aking tanong, ang IACAT at DOJ or DSWD? Yes, thank you.
Yes, you may answer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Senator. We confirm, no, the Department of Justice, as chairperson of the IACAT, confirms that we have this provision under the expanded anti-trafficking law, which allows the state to take protective custody of trafficking victims when it is warranted. And it would appear, Your Honor, that under these circumstances, that it's warranted because we've heard the testimonies of many children, many victims who attest to the occurrence of a variety of acts, such as forced marriage, forced labor, and then we also know of the pending investigation of the CHR, on top of the pending investigation right now before DOJ for, among others, human trafficking. And then some of the respondents themselves, some of the leaders of Bayanihan have already been cited in contempt by the Senate for lying, no, Your Honor. So it would appear that the state does have sufficient ground to take protective custody of any other victims that are present right now that the state doesn't have custody of. Our concern lang, Your Honor, is that the court has already spoken insofar as the authority of the local social welfare and development office to maintain custody of the children. But that doesn't preclude the national DSWD from taking custody of the children, and as well as the parents, if the parents do want to surrender or to be under the custody of the DSWD.
Thank you
Mr.
for that opinion, Yusik T. I will go, puntahan kita. Human rights, your opinion on this?
We subscribe to the manifestation of the good USEC, Your Honor.
Thank you. DSWD, your opinion?
Mr. Chair, we would just like to manifest that if it is a decision of this honorable committee, then the DSWD is prepared naman po to take protective custody of these children, and of course their